Welcome back. You're tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And now in studio with us, we have Tushar Garg. Tushar leads FlyHomes Seattle operations and oversees FlyHomes national brokerage business. An engineer by trade, Tushar fell in love with real estate and helping clients make informed and smart real estate choices. In addition to his MBA from Kellogg, Tushar's earned his MS in computer science from Minnesota, and he graduated from IIT in India, where he's originally from. Prior to FlyHomes, Tushar was a program manager for the core ranking team for Bing search at Microsoft. So welcome,
Tushar.
Thank you, Patricia and Sarah, for having me here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you.
We're excited.
Yeah, so I think it'd be great if, starting off, you could just sort of tell us what is FlyHomes.
So the FlyHomes is actually a real estate brokerage,
Uh-huh.
but we designed it to basically dramatically improve the home buying process for today's buyers. We realized that every step of the home buying process could be improved, right from what kind of counseling can you get, what sort of tour experience should look like, how do you work with the right lenders, and then, walking them through the negotiation, pricing process, as well as the closing process. And it doesn't just end there. I think the relationship kind of lasts for life, and we think of ourselves as the expert in the company, designed for folks who are looking for good advice end to end, but in a more modern way where it's less of a sales experience, but much more of how do we get information and data and sort of build off there.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too.
I know, it's just so good.
So with a computer science and engineering background, what got you moved into deciding to start FlyHomes? I mean, that's quite a deviation from that side.
To be honest, I actually never thought that I will be in real estate. But, life is such that just things kind of connect, and it's Thanksgiving season, so I have to be thankful for many people for getting me into this field, which I just love. First was my co-founder and the CEO of FlyHomes, Steve. Incidentally, both of us had bought our homes just before going to our MBA at Kellogg. And we realized that, the whole process had so many missing holes. So we bonded over beers over what could be better in this process. And then we decided that, while we were at MBA, why don't we just start something of our own to actually address those issues? We didn't quite know what that actually meant. We just had our own home buying experience. But we were fortunate to have our first few clients who were willing to work with us and helping us learn in the process. And then sort of one thing led to the other, and we both found our passion, and here we are. In Seattle, and we've helped more than 250 families now buy homes.
Wow.
250?
That's right.
Wow.
And how long have you guys been in business?
We started in right around this time in 2015.
Okay.
But really active in the market from sort of summer of 2016. So
Wow.
about a year or so.
That's incredible. It's kind of amazing to me that we had a home buying experience, you saw the areas that need improvement, and then you just started an entire company to solve the problem. That's amazing.
That's America, right?
Yeah.
Only in America?
It's very true.
Yeah. So I know you guys have some big news that you're here to share too. And so, and that's the guarantee that you guys offer, which is so unique. Can you tell us a little bit about what your guys' guarantee is?
Absolutely. So I think when we started working in the Seattle market and just we predominantly focus on the home buyers. We realized that many home buyers, kept losing to all cash buyers in the Seattle market. And these were awesome families which, truly deserve to be in homes. And many times they were even willing to pay more than the all cash buyer, but the sellers would choose certainty. And we also realized the sellers really had no other option but to choose that because, it's the stigma with the house. If the house comes back on the market, and also sellers are selling the house for a reason, they typically need the finances in good time and they need it for something else. So we figured, how can we improve this whole process and make it better for both the home buyers, the sellers, as well as the listing agents. In that journey and sort of brainstorming, we realized that we know our buyers really well, and we can work with awesome lending teams such as yourself in order to be able to prepare a buyer so that their financing is certain. But for the sellers, when they get multiple offers, there's just no way to know which offer is going to go through or not. So we ended up deciding that we would guarantee the purchase of the house. So essentially, when a FlyHomes buyer makes the offer on any house, FlyHomes stand behind the buyer, and we say that even if the buyer fails to buy the house for any reason, whether something comes short in the lending process, something goes wrong a couple of our buyers incidentally lost jobs during the process when they were working in such a difficult time. In those kind of situations, we can step in and buy the house, and thereby alleviating a lot of the risk that sellers and the buyers have to take today.
Wow. So if the sellers or the buyers, for whatever reason, decide or cannot purchase the home, then you guys, FlyHomes, is going to buy the home.
That's right.
Wow.
I know, that's crazy.
There's nothing like that.
Does it matter, like, is there any kind of price that you place the guarantee on, or is it just, I mean, if someone's buying a $3 million home, are you going to buy the $3 million home?
So we just rolled out the program. I mean, our goal is to be able to take it to even higher value homes. But for now, as you shared, we work to the conventional loan limits.
Okay.
And then anything added on to that based on the amount of down payment buyers have. We haven't rolled this program out yet with the jumbo loan limits because the programs just have a lot more uncertainty.
Right.
And also a goal is predominantly to get the families into their first homes and be able to help. And sort of as you shared in the first part of the segment, many buyers have just 5% down and 10% down, and they can't even think about coming in this very competitive market just because they don't feel like they can win anything. And our goal is to be able to help those buyers as well.
Right. You're basically taking all the uncertainty out of it. It doesn't matter how much they put down, who their lender is, really, because at the end of the day, you're gonna buy the house if they don't. So 20% down versus 5% down no longer is in play.
Kind of equals the playing field there, I
Yeah.
would think. But does it equal it if it's a cash buyer? How do you guys feel about going up against a cash buyer?
So we actually think that we are better than the cash buyer because if you think about the cash buyers, all they promise to the seller is an amount of earnest money. Now, there's a perceived certainty with the cash, but many of us know that the cash buyer might change their mind, the buyer's remorse can happen, all sorts of situations can come up. And if something like that comes up, the only recourse that the sellers have is to go after the cash buyer to try to get the earnest money, which then becomes a bad situation. Whereas here, we're putting the company's reputation behind this, saying, no matter what the situation is with the buyer, when we make an offer, the house is sold. And interestingly, the other day, this was one of the most touching experiences I've had in 2 years, we made an offer like this, and the sellers and the listing agent called me, and they were so thankful. And the seller's voice cracked up on the phone talking to us because they were in a nursing home, and this was the most stressful process they're going through there in their lives. And when they got a guaranteed offer from our buyer, it just made them feel relaxed through the whole process. So actually, we've won against, many times we've had 5% buyers win against all cash buyers already. So we are seeing it in the marketplace, sellers and the listing agents reacting to it quite positively.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I know. I was just going to ask you how is it being received, but it's being well received. Yeah.
It's still early days, but hopefully,
Yeah.
through these programs, we can spread the word around and build more confidence around the program.
Wow. So, we just talked about why it's better than all cash. I mean, emotionally, it removes all emotion, basically, from the offer because it's sold. So,
Yeah.
it's really, really incredible. How many houses are you guys closing currently, on average a month?
So we've been helping almost one family get a home every day in Seattle now.
Wow.
So that puts us at around 30 homes a month, which is really quite exciting because I think beyond just helping a lot of buyers, it also gives us unique vantage point in terms of understanding what's going on in the market sort of week over week and seeing that in different neighborhoods. Something that we can then pass on to our clients, and they feel a lot more informed about being able to actually make their choices as they look to make an offer.
Wow. How many real estate agents do you guys have to service 30 deals a month?
So the way we function is that you're not working just with an individual agent,
Uh-huh.
but you're sort of working with the company as a whole. We have somebody, you can think of them as a real estate agent who's the customer engagement lead.
Okay.
And so you work very closely with them. And we have 4 customer engagement leads supporting multiple languages for our clients. And so right from Mandarin to Hindi to English.
Wow.
And then but behind them, they're powered by various experts. So we have a pricing team whose only job is to price the house. And they can do that in a neutral fashion without being emotionally engaged and consequently give good values, and we can help clients think through those emotional decisions. Then we also have an expert closing team, which does a phenomenal job working very closely with the lenders. So it's just we have four customer engagement experts, but then they're powered by quite a few people in the back.
Wow. And so do the customer engagement experts, are those the ones writing the offer?
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
So they're the ones writing the offers. They're the ones who are on the offer.
Okay.
That
Wow.
is so smart because we,
Yeah.
we see so much more now, both in lending on our side and in real estate, where it seems like the old one-man show is a little less, less prevalent out there, and there's a lot more teams, and people are focusing on what their strength is. So, I mean, I think in your model, you can totally capture that, and people can get really good at the aspect that they're servicing.
That's right. And I feel also like, in real estate, people have been nervous about getting into real estate just because they feel like they can't do it all real well.
Yeah, and have any quality of life, right?
That's right. Being able to go to bed. And so I think just having a balance in the team allows both the consumers to be able to get a great service end to end. But more importantly, it allows us to bring people who would have never thought that they would be in real estate, but are excellent at, say, data mining or pricing to be a part of this industry. So I take a lot of pride in the kind of folks we've been able to get into this business, and that's been something that is really helping the consumers.
That's awesome because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's really all about the people and the relationship, right? And if you can get good people doing something they love, it creates a good experience for the customer too.
Very true. I think it is, and I think it'll always be still a relationship business.
Yep.
And that's why we, unlike many other technology firms, we've sort of taken an approach that we want to make it very personal, very much of a high-end service, but then powering it in the back with technology and processes which haven't existed before.
Wow, that's so great. We're just so excited to have you on here and to talk about FlyHomes, and because it is so unique to any other, real estate company and what you guys are doing. You guys also have some rewards, right? So a rewards program. Is that what you have?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you got to have some fun as well when you're buying the biggest purchase of your life.
Yeah.
When we got started, we got lucky and sort of got into connection with Alaska Airlines,
Okay.
which is such a phenomenal local airlines here in Seattle. And, we thought, might as well, people have just spent a bunch of money trying to buy their home. Why shouldn't they take some awesome vacations after that and
Wow.
still be able to, do fun things? So we ended up partnering with Alaska, where we give 1 mile for every dollar value of your new home.
Wow.
So if you bought $1 million home, you have 1,000,000 miles that can take you around the world.
What?
Oh my God.
Are you kidding? That's why you got the name FlyHomes?
It's interesting actually. The name was around easier process, streamlined service.
Uh-huh.
But when we got this partnership with Alaska Airlines, naturally it became too close association. So
Yeah.
now a lot of folks think about that, and it kind of works well.
It does
That
work.
works really
I
well.
thought it was because your homes were flying off the shelf. That's
Yeah.
But it's both things. Wow,
And-
that's incredible.
But as we did Alaska, I think we realized that all the clients get about different kind of rewards.
Uh-huh.
So we didn't want to just be limited there.
Okay.
So we had a chance to partner with Lyft, where if you're looking to buy a condo in Seattle, many of the millennials don't want to own a car. So we don't want them to think about owning a car, just keep it really simple. So we give them lots of Lyft credit that they don't have to own a car and then just kind of lift around everywhere.
That's cool.
And,
Really cool.
and some families just need cash, to be able to cover the closing costs and be able to get into their first home.
Uh-huh.
And in those cases, we help them out with the initial closing cost coverage as well.
Wow.
That's so cool because, in my background, I've done a lot of new construction. And typically when you're buying new construction, that's really the only time that you see,
Credits and
credits,
benefits,
gifts,
yeah.
appliances, upgrades, things thrown in from a builder perspective. But for you guys to do it, on the real estate side, that's super cool.
I know. I'm just thinking about like the vacation I'm going to go on after I buy my house with Tushar.
I
I'm
know.
like, where am I going to go? I don't know. That is so cool.
It's really neat.
So you guys you have so many exciting things happening, but you guys have been raising funding, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
So when we started thinking about the guaranteed program and the extent of what we need to do here to be able to offer this in a systematic way, we wanted to get somebody on the board who's done it before.
Uh-huh.
And, we were just very fortunate to have one of the local, e-commerce experts. His name is Mark Vedon. He was the founder of Zulily,
Okay.
which is a
Yes.
online shopping store. And then,
Uh-huh.
of course, he also founded Blue Nile,
Okay.
which is the online diamond company,
Mm-hmm.
and was recently the first chairman and investor in Chewy. So he's done literally 3 times in 3 different e-commerce industries, has taken the companies to a dramatic level. And we wanted that kind of mentorship We got really fortunate to have Mark come and join us, and also invest his capital to help us invest in our technology team to develop it and build better products for our customers.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome. You guys are growing so rapidly. So
are
go
you
ahead.
based in Seattle only, or you cover other markets?
Seattle is where we got started.
Uh-huh.
It is still our primary market, but we have just launched in the Silicon Valley area, so San Francisco and Bay Area. That's the market which is taking good traction at the moment as well. And then we did our MBA in Chicago, and naturally we wanted to have another market which is a little different from the Seattle Bay Area market. So Chicago gives us that learning opportunity, as well as being able to serve our own community of Kellogg alumni, Northwestern alumni.
Oh, yeah.
And we also have an office in Boston. So those are the 4 cities we're in at the moment.
Wow.
So are you overseeing all of those offices, or do you have people in place there?
So we have awesome general managers who run those offices on a day-to-day basis. I do have the vantage point of having some early learnings of having grown the Seattle office. So that helps me sort of stay in touch, coach and mentor at times, but we do have reasonably autonomous, awesome general managers in each of these offices.
Wow. So do you know how many employees do you guys have at FlyHomes with all your offices?
So we now about 30 or 32 employees.
Wow.
That's great. I'm wondering, what kind of since you're bringing maybe kind of non-traditional, like, real estate people that, they're getting into the business from a totally different perspective. Is it hard to find people, or how do you find the right people
That's a good question.
That's a great question. And actually, so we recently hired somebody who was a former consultant at World Bank, and she was a financial expert and economist from New York. So her job is to think around investments and really building out the thesis to help people understand sort of why they're making this decision at the highest level. Similarly, so she's one of the customer engagement leads. The other person, Wendy, just joined the team. She's a former structural engineer, and she used to design, all kinds of buildings and things like that here in Seattle. Super familiar with the city, and she's going to be a new construction expert. So the goal is to bring much more clarity. I think, as you said, you worked in the new construction industry, and today people still struggle to know, what are the new projects that are coming up? What is the different profiles of the builders? How do I differentiate one builder with the other? People don't have much knowledge around those things. So Wendy is focusing on actually improving that part of the pie. So essentially the way we look at it is we have these deep experts who can take these areas and bring that knowledge back to the consumers. But then we also have people from the real estate industry, who are also very valuable because they have their own set of knowledge and skills that we want to be able to learn from.
Sure.
Wow. It's a really well-rounded team that you guys have.
Very fortunate to have.
Yeah, you are. So back to, the buyer experience. What would you say? You guys work, like you said, generally with buyers only, right? You don't do listings or a little bit?
We just do listings in cases when the buyers have to sell their own homes.
Okay.
And at some point, we might consider partnering with some of the awesome listing agents who we've worked with before. Our focus is to drive the buyers volume.
Right. Yeah. So the focus is on buyers. And what would you say is one of the biggest hangups that someone experiences when they're getting ready to make an offer?
It's really interesting, actually, for me when I've had a chance. When I was in Microsoft, I was working with code all the time, and not as many people. And I think it's fascinating to understand how much fear and inertia drives the decisions for people. And many times I feel that buyers are struggling to understand the opportunity cost of not winning. So they're just looking at the transactions that are very short-term focused. So one of our goals is to actually help them fully understand why they're doing what they're doing. And with that empowerment, I feel they're able to overcome their fears and make good, bold decisions because honestly, I mean, Seattle is very competitive and it always pushes you at your boundary when you have to win your house. So getting into the right mindset is super important.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Well, I want to ask one more question. We have about a minute left, but what would be the one piece of advice that you would give a home buyer today?
So I think this is almost contrary to what I just said, which is...
Oops, sorry about that.
The advice I'll give is that despite being super strong and, you fall in love with the homes, but realize that, there's always a better home in the market a week later. And, you don't have to overstretch yourself. It's a big decision. You should feel proud of that decision after you've bought it. After a month, you've bought it as well. So it's about having the emotional balance. And a lot of people get too carried away at the emotional time. And we try to keep that in check as well. But I would advise you not to fall in love with the house till you have it.
That's
I love
awesome
it. That's
advice.
really good advice.
Well, thank you so much, Tushar. It's been
Yes.
awesome. People want to get in touch with you. We'll have all your information on the website so they can reach you there. Thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back from the break, we will be talking with Kyle Diaz with the Ronald McDonald House. To find out about topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.